Gray's always been athletic, even at the age of 4. He's always got the game, he's always understood the game.
The reputation of Grayson Pope has been all over this town for a lot of years.
He's always loved ball. I think that was his 3rd word. I think it was dada and then ball.
Let me just say it the way it was first said to me. This kid Grayson's a freak athlete.
Never crossed my mind in a million years what was about to happen.
We all run over there and we see him unconscious in the cart.
For 42 days, he was in a coma.
To this very day, Grayson's story is an absolute miracle.
I'm doing great. Couldn't be better.
A little backstory on Grayson. He was born in Knoxville, and so born and partially raised at a younger age there. I guess he was about 3 or 4 when we started playing wee ball. 4, maybe?
4, yeah.
4.
We just took some of the kids who all went to school together and put them on a baseball team and called them the Knoxville Sticks.
They took them to Lindsey Nelson and let them run the bases and meet the baseball players and all that. And we were literally walking off the field and he was like, I'm gonna play here one day.
I'm not entirely sure how I met Grayson. I know that we played baseball together when we were little. I guess we met through playing baseball when we were probably 3 or 4. I've just known him ever since.
Man, Cash, don't even remember meeting him. Every second of every day we were together.
He moved to Alabama when we were probably 7 years old and never really skipped a beat. We was just always best friends.
When I first met Grayson, we actually met on the playground at school in 1st grade. We were playing a game of jackpot, and we kind of just hit it off.
I was sitting in my 1st grade class, and the teacher said we had a new kid. We kind of found out we had a lot of the same interests, sports and stuff, so we just got to talking. Grayson, super competitive, smart baseball player, really good guy to have around just to push you to be the best you want to be and just have fun on the field.
When I was 12, I had a coach. He was like, Grayson, I play for these people. It's a baseball academy, and I want you to go play for them.
The first time I ever met Grayson was at a tryout where he showed up in Carrollton, Georgia for us. I imagine he was still 12 at the time, might have just turned 13, I'm not sure. But we had a bunch of kids out there, so it wasn't like really got to spend a lot of time with him in that day or anything, but was very impressed with the young man who you could tell was very dedicated and motivated.
We ask kids and we ask parents, hey, are they an XL guy? And he responded, Pope, absolutely, no doubt. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll reach out to high school and college coaches or former players that we know are plugged into the game around the state and say, hey, talk to us about any guys in your area that we need to know about. The guy that was in Trustful sent back 2 names, and Grayson was one of them.
Focus on the process, not the result. You got this.
Grayson was always like our championship Sunday pitcher. We would get to championship games and events, and we would roll Grayson out there, and Grayson would be a firm 75 to 78, hey, with a lot of belief, just so much belief. We had other kids that were very talented but didn't have that confidence that over the course of a summer, that infected them. For Grayson, he had some other offers, but Tennessee was the first Power 4 program that really stepped out and said, hey, we want Grayson.
Yeah, so Grayson Pope saw him play on the road. He ended up coming to a camp, but actually the guy that helped us with Jordan Beck, a guy named Jeff Malden, coach down there, gave us the heads up on him, and that's when we first heard about it. The way he played, it kind of fit our mold. I mean, he was a really wiry, athletic body. Like I remember at camp, he was just kind of running around catching everything in the outfield. And was really twitchy and just, again, had a bunch of like good baseline tools that we felt like we could build on.
When Gray got his offer from Tennessee, we were trying to let him be big and do the conversating himself, and We were like trying not to tell him what to say, but we put a cell phone in his bedroom so that we could stand in the kitchen and hear what he was saying. When your kid's happy, you're happy. And I mean, you couldn't smack the smile off of his face.
We knew that's where he was going to go as soon as they offered.
June 6th, 2023, a normal day by all counts. I wasn't feeling great, didn't have a busy work schedule, and had reached out to Grayson. He texted back, he said, "Dad, I really want to go play golf." I guess it was probably around 4:30. You know, it gets cloudy, it gets dark, your phone's dinging, you know, wind alerts, thunderstorm. Never crossed my mind in a million years what was about to happen.
Grayson and Brett were going back to the clubhouse, and me and Sam were still putting our golf clubs in the cart. Me and Sam heard the tree fall, and I see Brett run out of the cart, and he's like, "Holy crap, a tree just fell in our cart."
I remember feeling the wind hit my face, and then hearing the tree crack, and the next thing I knew, our cart immediately stopped, and it threw me out of the cart. And then I turned around and I saw Grayson laying there, and when I grabbed his shoulder, he just kind of fell over.
I get a call right around 5:15. I was like, golly, I don't want to talk, right now. Don't feel like getting on the phone. And I remember to this day, Mr. David, I hate to call you and tell you this. There's been an accident at the golf course with Grayson, and it's pretty bad.
Hey David, it's Walker. You need to call me back as soon as you can. I know this is random, but I met Gray and his buddies out there just by chance on a golf course, and a bad storm came through and a tree came down and landed on him and Brett's golf cart, and Gray is in bad state. He's still breathing, he's moving, but he's knocked out cold, his head's gassed up, and it's pretty rough.
I saw Grayson and I froze for like 5 seconds. We pulled him out of the cart, brought him over to a flat area, and then from there, Colby sprinted up to the clubhouse to try to get somebody because it was raining.
I pull up to the golf course and fire truck sitting directly in front of the clubhouse, and Walker Sahagan was there, and he said, "Come on, get in." We go racing to the scene. They're on the 16th hole, and as I'm approaching, I can see several people kind of standing around. I can see the paramedics and firefighters working on Grayson. And our golf cart actually, based on the GPS system, quit running about 100 yards away from where they were. So I just got out and sprinted.
I went up to him and was, like, "Grayson, hey, I'm here, it's Mom, I'm here, it's okay." And they were shooing me. They were like, "Move, we gotta get to the hospital, we gotta go. And I'm like, "I'm his mom." And they're like, "Ma'am, we've got to get to the hospital."
I just saw my son out cold, and I could see the fear. I could see just the anguish on kind of everybody's faces, kind of standing around just with that, like, "Oh my gosh, what has just happened?" look. I kind of took a few minutes and I walked over to the golf cart, and I saw the golf cart. I saw the blood in the golf cart. So I gathered Grayson's belongings out of the golf cart. I talked to the guys he was playing with, Brett and Sam, Colby. And that's when Brett, he's like, "Mr. David, I swear he never quit breathing. I swear he never quit breathing." I had my hand on his chest the whole time. He never quit breathing.
For me, everything just happened really fast. I just remember being on the ground with Grayson and then looking up, seeing the paramedics come, and it felt like his mom and dad arrived at the same exact time.
They told Brett not to move him, but Brett said, "Mr. David, I couldn't leave him there. Couldn't leave him in that golf cart." He said, "So I picked him up and I carried him to an open area where I didn't think a tree would fall on him."
Really, Gray should have been life flighted to the hospital that day, but because of the weather, they couldn't. But on the way to the hospital, I kept turning around because there was this little window. And my whole thought was, as long as they do not do CPR, he's going to be okay. So I went to turn back to make sure that they weren't doing CPR, and they started shoving stuff up in the window. Right before someone passes, your heart rate slows down, your breathing slows down, you clench your mouth, and like your body tenses up. And so Grayson was doing that at that point. And so that's why they blocked it, because Grayson was dying.
Grayson was very severe. His mental status was to the point where we considered him a severe traumatic brain injury. Had he not gotten to the hospital when he got to the hospital, he would have probably died.
I've been doing what I do for more than 3 decades, and tragedy is not unfamiliar to me. So you're praying and believing for the best, but you're trying to prepare yourself for the worst. And I got to tell you, this was the worst.
They're doing a CAT scan every 4 hours. And they're doing tests like every 4 hours. So they're pinching him, trying to get him to respond, and they're pinching his legs.
Trying to get movement.
Just trying to get some kind of reaction out of his body to make sure he's not brain dead.
He was giving us the results from the CAT scan that they had just done, and he was like, everything is swollen. There's hundreds, thousands. I mean, he's just going on and on. Brain bleeds. And I just fell to my knees and, started crying and was praying, and I was like, God, this is not supposed to happen. I just got a peace that Grayson's going to be okay. Like, it just happened. And I know he's not, because they just told me that he's not going to be okay. But, like, I have peace in my heart that he's going to be okay.
But one thing Grayson always promised me is that no one would ever outwork him. He told me, Dad, no one's ever going to outwork me. I'm like, all right, man. Man, I remember holding his hand at that bedside saying, son, you promised me no one would ever outwork you. I need that now more than ever.
When I got to the hospital and saw Grayson for the first time, it was really hard because it just didn't look like him. Like, once I got to be beside him and touch him, felt like I had just a supernatural peace. And so I just remember when I finally got to put a hand on him, just this feeling being like, he's gonna be okay.
Did you ever have a worry in the back of your mind that Grayson would die?
Sorry. I had a lot of worry that he would die, but I didn't really fully believe that he was gonna die until the doctors told us, like, it's gonna happen tonight.
Grayson was very severe. His brain was swelling to the point where the pressures in his head were getting so high and they were not being relieved by sedation and all the medical management things that we do. So they went and they actually took a portion of his bone off and left it to allow his brain to swell.
He had all these tubes and machines hooked up to him. I didn't really know what to think. I didn't know if I was ever gonna see him walk or talk again.
Throughout the days that he was in a coma, I would send him texts, like sometimes once a day, sometimes every other day. I had to go play softball, and I was like, Mom, I don't want to go. Like, I need to be at the hospital. And she was like, Grayson would not want you to sit at the hospital. He'd want you to go play.
While Grayson was in the hospital, this community rallied together in prayer, and there were several scheduled prayer vigils. People wanted to pray, and people wanted to see a miracle.
There were so many people that wanted to see him, and there was not enough time in the day.
At UAB, they had to make new Grayson rules. They had to resection the places that the Grayson visitors could stay because there were so many all the time.
That waiting room was always packed out. He always had visitors. I mean, yes, his parents, grandparents, Emma, they're every day. Those kids, his teammates, it was their summer. They were there every day. They would come in and we'd use them in our sessions because they're familiar with their voices and their faces.
Everything that I could tell just by his friends and his family is that Grayson's probably everybody's best friend.
When you watch movies and people are in a coma and then they finally wake up, you think it's like this moment. There wasn't like a moment. It was like, oh my gosh, he's awake, like he's in there.
Snapping, all right, thumbs up. Good job. Can you take your right arm to your nose?
Sometimes his eyes would open, sometimes they wouldn't be open. We had this whiteboard and we didn't know if he could write at that time because like I said, he only had these 3 fingers from a surgery, so this was all wrapped up. And we'd never even asked him if he could write. So we gave him this whiteboard and we said, Grayson, who is this? And she pointed at me and he took the marker and real big wrote M-O-M. Grayson, what's your sister's name? And he wrote Emma.
He would call me, gosh, probably like 5 times a day and just talk about well, he couldn't talk, but he would just write on his whiteboard. And I remember this one time, I was like feeling so much guilt almost for living my life and while he was relearning his life. And I was talking to my mom about it, and he had this thing, like swivel thing on his phone, and he like snatched the phone and wrote on the whiteboard and was like, "You're exactly where you're supposed to be."
I don't know why I want to faith on my sister so much, but I did, and she would always pick up.
He called one day, and I think it was after he'd worked with a speech therapist, and my family was singing Rocky Top, and the only part he could do was like, "Good old Rocky Top, woo!" And it was like the only thing he had said in like months. And I just, of course, probably cried, and I was like, "Good job!" Like, it was like the proud mom moment of like, okay, you can do it. Like, you're starting with this, it's only gonna go up from here.
All right, Gray, can you lean your head to the right? Good job. Can you lean your head to the left? Good job. Can you lean up? Can you lift up? Lift your head up. Good job. Can you lean it back?
One of the occupational therapists who worked with Grayson in the neuro ICU, her name was Kate White. We had a baseball one day, and she would take his thumb and rub it over a baseball, or she would put pine tar under his nose and make him smell it just to stimulate him while he was still in his coma.
My role as an OT is to like bring these familiar inputs, sensory inputs, and provide it to him. For Grayson, that looked like his family, Jamie and David, they brought things from home. So we had, a baseball glove on his left hand. We had a baseball always in his right hand so he could feel the seams of the baseball. We did different grips, some throwing motions. We would play his walkout song.
How appropriate is this? Like, this was one of the smells, biofreeze, because you're always sore from baseball.
Right before we left for Shepherd's, she was like, "We're getting him up, we're getting him out of bed." They used the lift to get him up, and she got him in a wheelchair and brought him to the gym and was like, "All right, he's gonna kick a ball." And we were like, "No, he's not." And she was like, "Yes, he's gonna kick a ball. Emma, come help me."
Kick it to Nana.
There you go. Good job.
Good job, Gray.
Grayson was used to getting up every morning and working out, so he needed to be moving his body as much as possible. So that definitely helps wake up the brain.
Towards the end of that 42 days before we went to Shepherd Center, I would say he was not in a coma. David would say he's not in a coma. His eyes were open the entire time. They did not deem him conscious until we went to the Shepherd Center 3 days into the Shepherd Center.
The Shepherd Center is a specialty rehab hospital specifically geared towards people with various neurological impairments. When Grayson first came here, he was still requiring a full body support wheelchair, like a support for his head, his trunk, his arms, his legs, a lift to get in and out of bed. I was his primary occupational therapist, so I was seeing him for an hour every single day. He had a physical therapist who was also seeing him for an hour every single day. He had a speech therapist who was seeing him for an hour every single day. I think Grayson was up to probably like 5 or 6 hours of therapy a day.
That's speech therapy, PT, OT, out of bed. Speech therapy, he met with the chaplain that day. PT, back to bed at 4. It was every day. We felt like Gray was their only patient, and their focus was solely on him. His goal was to leave inpatient walking. He wanted to walk out of inpatient and walk into outpatient. And we were all like, same thing we said when he said at 4, "I'm gonna play baseball for Tennessee." And we were like, "Yes, you are, buddy. You dream big. You do. Yes, you work hard and you can do that." Well, when he said, "I'm walking out of the Shepherd Center," we were like, "Yes, you are, Grayson. You sure are. You set those dreams and you meet those goals." And he did.
Push that leg down.
Push, 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 push.
Yep.
Boy, G.
That's what we gotta get. We gotta get all the way up and stay up.
All right, lefty, lefty.
Oh, nice, Gray. Oh, wow. There you are. All
by yourself.
Whoa! Grayson, all I can say, man, is stay positive. Hope you bounce back quick. You have great people around you supporting you, and get well soon.
Hey Grayson, it's Riley Green, man. I heard about your accident. Just want to say I hope you get well soon, and I hope you can make it out to the show soon. See you, buddy.
You're going to make it, brother. You're going to be okay. You're starting to wake up right now every day and starting to move and start to have some feeling, and, God's got you.
This next one's Grayson Pope, Tennessee. What a milestone this is from a year and a half ago that we're sitting here signing a scholarship at the University of Tennessee. Grayson is an absolute inspiration to myself, to our coaches, to our players. Tennessee is getting an example of how to live your life every day and chase your dreams.
Yeah. Come on. After my accident, Tennessee honored my scholarship to come here.
For Grayson, we knew he loved Tennessee. The relationship piece there that they had and the belief they had in Grayson, it was such a comforting thought for us because Grayson was a special kid to our organization.
We don't take an offer or recruiting anybody lightly. If we're going to invite you into the family, we wanted it to be a match. And then also, too, our job is development, whether it be baseball or personal skills or whatever it may be. So we're thankful he's here every day.
It's a family. I mean, it's just the best place in the world. I wanted to come here for a long time. I didn't fully know what I was getting into way back then, but now I know it was the right choice.
Just him being around the players and being in the dugout and in the workout facility and, living in the athletic dorm. Again, it's just another step in that journey, getting him closer to back to where he was before.
At the end of the day, he's one of us, a baseball player that has a passion for the game, and I learn more from Pope than Pope learns from me.
Oh yeah. I'm more. When you swing, go inside the ball.
Like that?
Keep the bag close to you and flick it to right.
Well, he's always there to help in any capacity. He's always asking, hey, what can I do? Or how can I help? And, we've met in my office about just making sure what can we do, so preparing him for the future.
There's not many people in this world that, if they went through what he went through, they would have a smile on his face every day like he does. So, he's the best. He brings a smile to everyone's face.
Do you think that you will ever play again?
That's a loaded question, honestly. Probably not, but in my head, 100% I'll be back.
Grayson went through the most difficult thing. Grayson, the rest of his life will be marked by that moment for sure. I'll tell this to Grayson, I'll tell this to every family as they go through it. If it's not good, God's not done with it yet.
It's been a humbling reminder that there are things in life that are bigger than baseball. But that doesn't mean that baseball can't serve a really big purpose in our lives.
There's really no way that I could thank everyone. Y'all have just been amazing. Thank you, don't stop praying. Job's not done, we're still going.
Watching him get out of that hospital bed, watching him learn to walk again, watching Grayson learn to run again, watching him in the gym, seeing him lifting weights, seeing him as a college student, are you kidding me? On his own, he's determined to make it. And his story is going to continue to impact lives.
This is the very first time I've been back. This right here is about the same size as the tree that fell on me.
Whatever was given to him, he was going to make the most of it. From the day he was born to the day of the accident, you know he's going to give every single thing. And I think that is the thing that I admire most about him.
Sometimes I'll be at the field and think to myself, what if I never went golfing that day?
I think it just shows that, like, even in your lowest moments, that God has the greatest plan and uses any tragedy for His glory.
The thing I'd be most proud of, I never quit. There isn't a bone in my body that will quit.
He sees the gift that's been given to him, and the gift of living, the gift of sharing his story, encouraging others, showing how God is good to other people.
If I had one thing to say to someone, it'd be, keep going, don't quit, you'll make it. There is someone bigger out there, God. He'll get you through it.
Describe Grayson in one word.
Probably blessing would be the word. He's just a blessing.
If I could use one word to describe Grayson, it would be unwavering. He's gonna make it happen no matter what.
I think if I could describe Grayson in one word, I'd describe him as a light, because if you just see him walking around right now, you know it's just a miracle that it happened.
I would say loving.
He's a good role model.
I mean, resilient is the word.
I would say he's very reliable.
Determined.
I would say passionate.
Energy.
My word to describe Grayson would be determination.
If I had to describe myself, it would be, I'm a dog, D-A-W-G. This is true.
Oh, yeah, easy now, easy now.
He's like, what are y'all doing?
Dog.
Oh, dog, y'all